There's growing fallout over an editorial in Christianity Today calling for the impeachment and removal of President Trump.
The editorial seen here has sparked a huge outcry. President Trump has slammed the editorial, and evangelicals rallied around the president shortly after it was published. The piece was also the subject of a recent clash in CNN between a top Trump supporter and host Chris Cuomo. Take a look.
You have a choice of a lot of candidates who believe what you believe in when it comes to reproductive rights.
Right.
Why get behind a man who makes a mockery of your faith?
I certainly don't think, most people that I know do not think he makes a mockery of our faith.
I don't understand how people who believe what you believe get behind somebody who does not. Unless you're just going to say it's transactional.
Wait a minute.
If they practice love, if they practice mercy.
You're telling me what I'm telling you. Of course I would vote.
But he doesn't practice those things. That's why I'm asking.
According to you?
Joining us now is the person in that heated exchange, Eric Metaxas, author and host of the Eric Metaxas radio show. Eric, that exchange got a lot of attention. Certainly it didn't seem like you got a lot of words in there, but what do you make of Chris Cuomo's reaction to you?
Listen, you talk about a difference of opinion. We totally disagree. But there's so much here. First of all, whenever people talk about Christians in America or evangelicals in America, in movies, in history, not all of them, but most of them are fighters. And you think of the story of Rocky. I think of in Untouchables when Sean Connery says, you know, when you put one of ours in the hospital, we will put one of yours in the morgue. You know, we don't go, ooh, that's not very nice. I mean, you have to see things for what they are. This president, the reason he is beloved, despite whatever foibles or mistakes or sins he's created, is because he's a fighter. There's something heroic about him. So I think most Americans who are not being interviewed on Chris Cuomo's show, they want to celebrate this president. They've never seen anybody stand up heroically to China. My goodness, you know, that's the kind of thing. So when people try to put Christians in a different box than other Americans, I say, we're just Americans. We care about the country. We care about freedom. We care about the same thing. So it becomes like a non-conversation.
I've been living in Nashville for the past 10 years, and they have a saying down in Tennessee, you ain't got to like a man to drink his liquor. So, and I mention that because I think there are a lot of people that feel that Donald Trump is an imperfect person. However, remind us what they support about his policies, which really takes him back to the voting booth.
Well, I think that, again, the man, you have the man and then you have his policies, and there's some overlap. But let's just look at it this way. People see him. Some of this stuff is so shocking, you have to say it over and over to remind yourself that you're not dreaming. Here's a guy who said very specifically in the campaign what he was going to do, okay? And I'm old enough to know, never in my lifetime have I seen a politician do what he said he was going to do. It's the most bizarre thing.
Conservative judges.
Well, the conservative judges, first of all, it's shocking because all my conservative friends who hated Trump said, he's just talking, he'll never do it. As soon as he gets in there, you're going to see he's a Manhattan liberal. That didn't happen, okay? He has been proudly pro-life. Most Americans are very pro-life. They're certainly way more pro-life than the Democratic Party. He moved the embassy to Jerusalem. Why did all the other presidents say they're going to do it and not do it? Because they did not have, and this is why people love Trump, they did not have moral courage. He has moral courage to fight. He doesn't care if people say, I hate you. And by the way, let's talk about the evangelicals one more time. As an evangelical, I don't have permission to hate, okay? When Obama was president, I hated his policies, but I didn't hate the man. I shook his hand. I was civil to him. People, including Christians, have given themselves permission to hate this president. That is out of bounds. That is fundamentally unchristian.
I want to talk about your book, Donald.
My book?
Yeah, talk about your book here.
My book?
Great.
What book? What are you talking about?
So what is this about?
Okay,
give the title.
The title is called Donald Drains the Swamp by Eric Metaxas. You got to laugh, okay? I've written a lot of humor. I've written a lot of big books. I've written kids' books, done all kinds of stuff. The guy who convinced me to take a look at Trump during the primaries, my best friend, Tim Raglan, he and I have done a number of kids' books together. And I said, you know what, Tim? Now that this man has been elected president, we need to write a book that celebrates him, like a folk hero. So we wrote a book called Donald Drains the Swamp. We did a sequel that just came out weeks ago called Donald Builds the Wall. He's a caveman. He gets stuff done. But here's the most amazing thing. The President of the United States, for the first time in my life, retweeted a tweet that I put out about this book. So I think it's sold out at Amazon right now. But I think that most people in America want to celebrate this president. They don't want to focus on what the press focus on, which is every mistake he makes, every misspoken word. They jump on it. I think most Americans are happy with what he's done. And most Christians that I know are simply good Americans. They see what most Americans see. And to try to single them out and make them more pious than they are, it's a fundamental misunderstanding of what it means to have faith.
Love the book. Have to check it out.
Thank you
so much. Thank you, Eric Metaxas, host of the Eric Metaxas radio show and author also of the book called Bonhoeffer. Thank you so much for your time.